So I'm Martin Buchheit. I'm a sports scientist, a researcher, and conditioning coach. So during my talk, I talked about the application of heart rate variability to monitor mainly training status in elite athletes. Talked a lot about some of the limitation and tried to provide some guidelines to how to use it.
And what are you looking for when using HRV within elite sport?
Mainly to have a measure of the adaptation of the athletes that could help practitioners to adapt training content.
And is there anything you'd see as the biggest insights HRV monitoring can give coaches and players?
Yeah, probably something a bit more objective in relation to their feelings, so what the athletes can report to themselves. So have an additional tool in the toolbox.
And how about the value of monitoring internal load versus external?
Yeah, sure. I think both are very important. Sometimes the ratio between both is pretty important. But I like to mention or to precise that HRV is not a measure of load, but more a response, measure of the response of the body to that load, which makes it another great monitoring measure.
And does it have a role in guiding training?
Yeah, sure. I think that's mainly the main application. Yeah.
And you talked in your talk about the importance of not making decisions on one day of data. Can you just explain a little about why that's so important?
Yeah, simply by the fact that HRV is pretty variable from a day to another, and some days an isolated value from a day might not reflect the overall training status of an athlete. So it's better to average a couple of days or even several days, like I would say minimum 3 to 4 days a week minimum, if it could be daily. And then averaging those daily values to have an overall idea is way more relevant, more precise.
And are there any sports that are particularly suited to HRV monitoring?
I would say the sport with a large emphasis on the metabolic systems, which involve a lot of training volume, are probably those that are going to benefit the most from the monitoring.